sweet friends. Hello, welcome back. Time travel, changing the future, changing the past. Are all of these possible? That is what we're diving into today. And this is going to be such a fun topic, especially for those of you who, if you're here, I know that is you, who love exploring these types of topics, these types of deeper questions, these types of, there's just so much juice and exciting things to dive into. Now, for context, we're going to be diving into really how this is actually possible. This is not a far out concept that we can maybe one day think about may happen. No, my friends, this is happening now. We can do these things. We can change the past, we can change the future, and we can time travel. Now, this was really inspired by my walk yesterday. My walk yesterday, I really, if you're new around here, I really embrace the miracle frequency every moment, every day. Magic, miracles, synchronicities. And if you're not in the miracle frequency, details for that will be below. Because I firmly believe that, of course, we're going to have challenges, we're going to have opportunities to grow and expand and evolve. However, absolutely everything, every moment is encoded with a miracle for us to see, for us to receive. So I love to live my life that way. And one of my favorite times to do that is when I go outside, when I go out into nature, when I'm just interacting with all of the unforeseens that may take place when I am especially in nature, but I will do it when I just go out for my walk in the afternoon. So I always have to get my reset my resets just like between from work to like the evening. It's like that walk is like it's like resets my energy and brings me just, I love it. Anyways, if you're if you're, I don't know if this is like a other places do this, but where I live, there's these free little libraries and they're all around the neighborhoods and you can go. The idea is you grab a book and then you should bring a book. And it's this beautiful exchange, and all of the libraries have books in them. And I typically use these as an oracle. So I'll be walking by and I'll look in and I'll see what book is catching my eye and take it as a message, whether it's just the title or I'll flip through and see what there is inside there. And I've never done this before where yesterday I I'm always guided towards walking down a certain street or a certain path or whatever it is. And yesterday I go down this particular street I don't really go down very often. And there's a free little library I've never seen before. And so of course I peer inside and I'm like looking, what is my oracle today? What message does my higher self have for me today? And it's there. I see it. And it is the book, which this is really bad because I'm forgetting the name of the book, but I'll put it below. I had never heard of this book before, but it's about essentially like the secrets of the universe are going to be in this book, right? Now, from the outside, I was a bit like, this looks very sciencey. This looks like this guy, he's into science. It was like David something or other. Like there's like a electric plug and I'm like, this looks a bit sciencey, but I'm into the science. I really like balancing like the science and the woo, right? I really feel like over time, science has kind of gotten like, I think mainstream is leaning a little too heavy into science without trusting like the divinity of God, the divinity of source in the universe. But I digress. So I'm always a little bit skeptical with science and being in the realm of health and nutrition. Like, why are there articles and scientific research that can support veganism and carnivore and paleo and fasting and not fasting? And so it's like we really have to learn to discern ultimately and use intuition, which is actually rooted in science and psychic abilities. So as I open this book, I'm like, well, let's see what the table of contents are. So I see, and immediately I go to the chapter on page 289. So like towards the end, it says time travel. I'm like, let's see what this guy has to say about time travel. So he starts talking about time travel, and it's so true as he begins to mention that as children, we're painted the story of what time travel is. We're painted the story, and of course, he's talking about this in science terms of, how we perceive this. But as children, we are painted the story that you get in this time machine, and you press in 1989, 18, whatever, 1800. And then we'll get to go and we'll get to walk around, and we'll get to see and be with those people and talk to them and do all of these things. And then he gets into the topic of, well, what about free will? Because we could be altering the other people's free will doing this, right? And here's the thing, though. Here is the thing. Just because we have this idea that that's what time travel is, I believe that it has made it out to be this esoteric, far out there concept. But here's the thing, if you have ever gone into a meditation and remembered something from your past, seen it play out in your mind, you are time traveling. If you are dreaming of the future and what you're going to be doing tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, you have that vacation coming up you're so excited about, and you can feel yourself there. You're envisioning yourself drinking the pina colada by the beach. This is a form of time travel. Now, we can do this more intentionally, where we go into sacred meditation and set this container to literally astral travel and time travel. And no time machine needed. Now, we may get there one day. We may get to the place where time machines are indeed a thing. But he began to talk about then this idea of our beliefs and of the past. And this is something I really love to talk about and that I'm really passionate about, because here's the thing, as human beings, we have about 30% accuracy of what actually happened in the past. Like, really think about that for a moment. We have a 30% accuracy of what happened in the past, of a situation that takes place, of any situation that takes place. This is why in court cases, they have to get multiple eyewitnesses, because 10 people see the same thing and they all have a different story of it. They all have a different perception of it. They all literally, with their eyes, received different imagery, felt different things. Why is this? We have our ocular receptors are literally filtering things through our lens. That means through our trauma, through our beliefs, through our energetic blueprint, through how we see ourselves, how we see the world. All of that depends on how our ocular nerves and literally biology receives what is taking place. And so this is why one person says, well, so and so killed so and so, and the other person says, well, but no, I saw with my eyes, I saw him, like, I saw him slip whatever, and it didn't take place that way. Whatever, I don't watch. I'm too sensitive for any type of murder things, but I assume I've heard that's how it goes. And so when I work with my clients, especially when we are doing regressions or hypnosis, and there's a really particularly challenging trauma that has taken place, here's what happens. We go back and we see this experience. And what happens when the mind is, and when the mind and body are in fear, are in shock, It alters our perception, first of all, and there's this shock to the nervous system, and it freezes the body's ability to process it. This is what a trauma is. A freezing in the energy within the body. And so then if we don't do something to immediately release it, where this is why in nature, animals, when they're almost attacked by a predator, they go off afterwards and they shake. They shake, they tremble, because that's literally releasing the trauma from their body. Now, as human beings, we're told, like, just get over it, you're fine, like, you're strong, be tough. Or we think that it didn't happen, we think that it wasn't that bad, we think, oh, I'm okay, like, I'm still alive. But the body gets stuck in this holding pattern because it didn't quite process it. So I'm a huge advocate for shaking, for tremoring, it's called TRE, traumatic trauma release exercises. I first got into them, I first did a session maybe 3 years ago, and I try and do it every day. But also there are deeper traumas that I think really do require us to rewrite these energetic stories that are in the body. We're probably not going to release like big T traumas through shaking 10 years, 20 years, 40 years later. So this is where I love when we can, because here's the mind, or here's the thing, is the mind, it perceives what happens. And while it could be completely true, and I'm not like in any way invalidating what anyone's experience has been, because I know, oh my dear goodness, after working with so many people, like, wow, people have experienced it. It truly blows me away how many people are like functioning human beings with what they've been through and what they've experienced. Like these people that you just see walking on the streets and you're like, oh yeah, they have it all together. We have no idea what people have been through. We really have no idea. This is why compassion and understanding and not projecting, not judging, we really have no idea what people have been through. And so when I hear some of these stories, I'm just like, wow, like like that's traumatic. That would be really difficult. But but we have the ability with our minds to change that event, to literally reconstruct the energy that took place in that event. This is rewriting the past. This is rewriting the past, because what happens so often, and these really big things often happen in our formative years in ages 0 to 7, but they can also even happen in past lives, and we bring this energy. And so, of course, there are really awful things that happen that we can do this rewriting of later on in life as well. But by simply going back and working with that version of us, we literally change the energetic blueprint in our body. This is time traveling, this is rewriting the past, and this is therefore rewriting our future. Because this is the idea of hopping timelines. Everyone's like, I want a timeline jump. I want to get on the higher frequency. Well, but like, what does that actually mean? Like, what do you think you're actually doing when you're timeline jumping and going to another frequency? This means you're operating at, you made a decision that therefore you are on a different frequency now. You were making decisions based on this bandwidth and this frequency. Now you made a decision, and here's the thing. This could be a big decision, a little decision, anything in between. This will put you on a different timeline. Every decision we make puts us on a certain timeline. Now, when we make a really big decision where we go back we make a really big decision, or we go back and do this energetic work that I'm speaking of, and we rewrite the past. And rewriting the past is literally just changing how we perceive it in our mind and body. And here's the wild part about doing that. And I've seen this countless times and it still kind of blows me away, is that when we rewrite the past for ourselves, now others start responding to us differently. And others who were perhaps even in that circumstance and situation, they now begin responding differently to us. And now I want to also add in, because I know that I feel here and I'm sensing this thought, that this doesn't mean that we condone or support negligent, bad behavior. Because, like I said, I know a lot of people have experienced really difficult traumas, really awful, horrendous things. This doesn't mean that we support and say whatever happened was okay. However, there is an element of forgiveness, and and when we realize that holding a person in judgment, in anger, it's not punishing them. That energy is within us. That energy is within us. And so we must trust and know they will receive their punishment. Like, we live in a really incredible universe with a God that, I know it doesn't always make sense. I know, and I understand. It doesn't make sense in our humanness why bad things happen. But there are so many universal laws that their soul will receive, whether in this lifetime or another, that ability to make that wrong right, will be brought to what they need to do to heal. And we're all weaving this tapestry together, and also by ourselves and with God. And so this doesn't mean that we say what a person did to us is good, but we say, I can release you from me. I'm no longer holding you within my energetic experience. I'm going to choose to see this differently, perceive this differently, to let my body free, to unbind myself from the binding that is taking place within my body, within my field, that is blocking abundance, love, connection, opportunities. I'm going to unbind myself from that energy. I'm going to choose to perceive it different and choose to see that this trauma was one of the greatest things that could have happened to me, because it led to the ability to love deeper, to the ability to see others, to the ability to help others, to the desire to pursue things differently. It led to the desire to have more compassion in my heart. It led me to make a big life change that I wouldn't have otherwise made. It led me to now become a better parent because I saw and see better. It led me to choose to take care of myself in a way that I would have never desired and wanted to, because I saw that I would never treat someone in that way. And so I have to now show up and love myself in order to be that love for others. There are so many messages and reasons why a soul chooses to go through the things it does. And now here's the thing. Free will is a big part of all of this, end of time traveling and rewriting the past, because ultimately we do have to consult with your soul. We have to make sure that your soul is on board, because there is no spiritual bypassing here. There is, like, a lot of people just want, like, the quick. If you haven't seen, is either last week's or the previous week's, like, we don't want just the quick. We don't. Like, we think our mind, our ego wants, like, the quickest possible, but ultimately, like, your soul wants to grow, your soul wants to learn, your soul wants to expand, and learning and growing and expanding is through receiving and learning the lessons and the expansion and the growth that is in the opportunity and challenge. And now, a challenge is very different than struggling and suffering. Okay, we have to delineate between these. Challenges and obstacles are here for us to overcome. This is a choice to see things as obstacles and challenges that I have been divinely given to overcome. Struggling is a choice, is really a choice. Struggles and struggling is a choice. We can choose through our perception. And one of the easiest ways to do this is working with someone who can guide you and lead you into this and who can really like hold you energetically. Like, here's the thing, like when people come to me, they're doing all of the work. But in order to do really deep work, being held in a presence that can support you in this is how we, one, feel safe to go into it, and two, receive that lasting, long root cause healing. Because if someone just sends you the Pleiadian 12th dimension frequency, you didn't actually learn the lesson your soul came here to learn. Now, there are times and opportunities for things to happen in a way that can bypass all of this, but that would be a soul choosing, a soul, like your soul wanted to be attuned to that 12th dimensional Pleiadian frequency. But if you have like a very chronic issue that you have been struggling with, it's probably not just gonna go away by someone sprinkling energy on you. Like, this is why I don't want people, there's an invitation for us to do this deeper work within ourselves. And this doesn't mean that we are by ourselves. We can do this, but have someone who will lead you and guide you to your own truth, to your own ability, to your own power. I want you to remember how powerful you are. I want you to know that you have the answers and solution and guidance and literally the power of source, the power of source within you at all times. Period. The end. We literally just forget. And so my job is to remind you. My job is to reflect that back to you. My job is to hold the space so you feel and remember and trust and know that. And when that happens in the body, that binding begins to release. You now begin to set yourself free. You now begin to see the past differently. You relate to yourself and the present differently, and you now create a different future. This is what this type of work does. And so we can try and just do things by taking a pill and blocking the receptors. Or we can open ourselves up and say, God, source divine, like, show me how to really, truly, from the roots, transcend this opportunity and challenge in my life right now. And when we ask this, we will be shown the people, the situations, the circumstances that will lead us to our healing. This is inevitable. And if you feel this in your heart while listening to this, trust this, reach out. I will tap in and see what would be the greatest for you in your soul's path. I don't want to work with people who I don't think I can support. I really don't. I'm only available for people who I believe that we have a soul contract to work together, to expand together, to grow together, and to elevate together. And if I am that person, that's amazing. And if I'm not, I will see where your soul is leading and guiding you to go. This feels like it is just in the greatest integrity for me of how I work with people these days. And I really, truly don't want to work with people who I don't feel like there is a resonance with and who aren't ready to see how powerful they are. When you're ready to see how powerful you are, this is where there is so much available for you. So much available for us to see and come and know and trust and expand into. So, time travel, changing the past, altering and creating the future, we're already doing it. We're already doing it. We don't have the fancy time travel machines yet. We may, maybe in our lifetime, maybe not, who knows? But I do firmly believe, and because I've seen it time and time and again, we can rewrite the past. We can go and tap in with our consciousness to other realms and dimensions. Now, I recommend always doing this safely If you don't know what you're doing, don't ask to be teleported to the 12th dimension. Just don't, okay? Because you can pick up some energies along the way that you might not want as passengers. So that's for another episode. That is for another time to talk about. But when you know that there is a deeper magic, a deeper magic to all of this, that's when life gets really, really miraculous. That literally matter and energy are all here supporting us, growing us, helping us, expanding us. And we can tune our eyes and our energy to receive this. So, with that, if you're ready for this deeper work, all of the links will be below for one-on-one, the miracle frequency, or if you want to understand and understand and receive the understanding of whatever you're dealing with within your health, within your life, that's where a health report will come in. You can check all of those links below. And with that, I am just sending you all infinite love and light.